What is up, everybody? My name is Viola. I am the host of the Cerebrith system, and here on TransenDID, I talk about my system, my others, my experiences, and we discuss topics about TID. Today, I wanted to discuss something that I recently discovered, like less than an hour ago, when I was looking up terms for alters, / what I call others. The term that I found today is dead alters. This does not mean your alters have died and they're just rotting in your system. That's not what that means. I'm going to explain, because I have my trusty phone here, because my memory is terrible and I would not be able to remember everything this says unless I took a long time to memorize it. So my apologies if me using my phone for this bothers anyone. Dead alters. This usually refers to alters who hide away from the rest of the system. They usually feel like one of the memories are where they died. This person who wrote this article says they have one who is dead and represents herself as a ghost. She died during a very traumatic abuse episode in the host's life. A child who has had a near-death experience may develop a dead alter who contains that experience. This is actually a very interesting concept, and I believe that one of my alters may be one of these. I've mentioned in other videos I have an alter named Zombina, who, very much like Matilda, who I mentioned in my Memory Jars, Dark Zone, whatever video, my Keepers video, that's what that was. Sorry, I had to remember names of stuff that I do sometimes. In my Keepers video I mentioned Matilda and Zombina. Their roles are to contain memory jars. Memory jars for Keepers in my system are essentially, for Matilda's traumatic events, but for Zombina, it's essentially, good things. I never took the time to realize, though, that this could be something completely different, and that could just be something that they do, or something. Like, I'm having a hard time with this. But honestly, Zombina fitting as a dead alter does make a little bit of sense, considering that she is a zombie living in a zombie town called Apocalypse, and she is patchworked. After I've basically been through so many traumatic things, it would make a lot of sense for her to essentially, represent memories, like one of the memories where they feel like they died, basically. The funny thing about Zombina, though, that I'm realizing upon reading that, is before I knew what DID was, she mentioned to me that she is my memories as a collective that have, my collective memories that have basically died off, that I don't remember. Basically, she's patched together because of who she is, who I used to be. She's essentially the parts of me that are no longer a part of me. That's how she explained it. Ironically, she started kind of popping up after I came out as trans. I feel like she represents the old memories that I've essentially left behind. This does leave the question is that her role? Or is being a keeper her role? Did I make up keepers? I don't know. I don't think I made them up, honestly, considering that Matilda basically told me that's what her job is. But I might have gotten Zombina's wrong. And I want to say that I'm still learning about my system, and I could be completely wrong about everything, and I'm learning every day about it. So it's okay to be wrong about something for a little bit, or to learn new information that clarifies something a bit better. Honestly, to me, this is a very jarring bit of information, and I'm not quite sure how to take it. It's helpful information, but honestly, learning about dead alters did kind of put why Zombina is in my system into more perspective, and I wanted to share that with you guys. With dead alters, I believe that they could probably come up as a zombie, maybe a ghost, anything that's considered undead, basically, I guess, or just dead in general. But on that note, it is very confusing. And I'm going to have to do a lot of like introspection and just really looking into this, because I'm more confused than ever about my disorder now. So in a way, this is a little bit like an update on that part. Do I believe that my diagnosis is wrong because of this? No. Absolutely not. But do I believe that I have a lot to learn? Definitely. Because as I start delving more into this, the more info I learn, the more things come forward, the more alters show up, and it's always going to be this way. And I have had alters integrate, apparently. So maybe they'll always be there, maybe they won't. I'm not sure. I do know one thing that I'll talk about further in some of Mina's videos, that she is not someone that talks very often. And it has been mentioned that she does hide away from everyone else, mainly out of fear. So, at least that's how it's been described. But honestly, that makes so much more sense to me. And I'm happy that I got to share this, because it is a very fascinating topic to think about. On top of that, it mentioned accidents. You know, like... Let me look at that again, actually. Sorry, I keep bringing up my phone. Where did it say that? A child who has had a near-death experience may develop a dead alter to retain the experience. See, that makes a lot of sense too, though. I wouldn't say I've had... Well... Actually, before I dealt with DID, or even knew that rather I should say, instead of dealt with, before I knew I had it, I did get into a roller rack sit with my best friend in his truck, so maybe that counts for something? I'm not sure. There's a lot I had to unpack here, because this just really kind of opened my mind to a lot of different things. And I want to talk about it on video because, honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about this. Learning that you may be wrong about alter is not a bad thing. It's honestly just kind of shocking. And it's not like my world is shattered. It's not like I'm upset that I was wrong, or that I had wrong information, or maybe I was just, I don't know, like, it's just all messing with me at this point. And, you know, it's times like this that do make you question your own brain. And I know I was diagnosed with DID, and it was confirmed, basically, through a lot of different stuff. But you can't help but question it sometimes. And even though I'm questioning it, I know it's valid still. I know I do have this disorder. Considering how often I deal with everything involved, and I've had it confirmed by a therapist. I don't know. My brain's doing dumb things. Long story short, I wanted to share this bit of information with you and kind of talk about how it involves my system, because it is very fascinating. And I have another one of these kind of videos coming up in a little bit. So, hope you don't mind rambling for a little bit. That being said, this is all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Greatly appreciate you stopping by. I always do. If you like the kind of stuff I do here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good kind of stuff. It helps me out a lot, especially with this algorithm. It is a mess. And remember, you're beautiful, you're valued, you're important. That is very, very, very important to me and everybody up here. And I will see you in the next video that I make. So until then, goodbye.